Hello fellow plant people! Welcome back if you're returning to my channel. If you're new, my name is Jen. I go by The Leafy Geek here, also on Instagram. And yes, I'm not holding a Hoya right now. I just felt like I needed to hold a plant in this intro, so that's what I'm doing. This is the third video in a three-part series of sorts that I started filming just to kind of recap what's going on with my Hoyas. Some of you guys who are familiar with my channel know I'm a Hoya collector-ish. But I have one more room to show you, and that is my living room. My general living space, it doesn't receive a whole heck of a lot of light, but I have some pretty fancy schmancy grow lights in here that the Hoyas that are living here in this room really seem to enjoy. My living room plant display houses a lot of my jungle cacti and also my Hoyas that live in here. And then I've got another shelf right back there. So rather than just sit here and talk at you about it, I'm gonna go ahead and show you. Okay, let's go. Well, hello you. You gonna help me film a video? Or are you just gonna lay there and be cute? Good choice. All right, ladies and gents, here is my living room display. I mentioned this in my welcome back video or my plant tour video for the fall this year, that this display used to be in my bedroom and it really wasn't serving a purpose as well as it is in here. That it really needed to be in here with these plants on it to really display its full potential. So I think at some point pretty soon I'm definitely going to do an update on my jungle cacti here because I do have some new additions to my collection, but I think a lot of those kind of fall into my wish list plants for 2022 video that I am also planning to film. But for now, we'll come down out of the rafters here and we'll take a look at what's on this shelf, because all of the Hoya that I have out here displayed are all lined up on this front kind of edge of this table that I have going on here. And try not to step on the hound dog while I'm doing this. So I've got some favorites out here, and the reason I have them out here versus in my Hoya room is, well, obviously, I like to look at them. In here is where I hang out with my dog a lot, I watch TV, it's my living room. So, you know, when I'm watching a movie or I'm hanging out, just doing whatever in this room, or even when I'm at work, I work from home from a day job. And when I'm at my desk and I just look over, I want to look at my favorites. And a lot of these are those. So let's take a quick look. We'll start on the right here. And this one, I'm going to start with a Hoya that's actually not one of my favorites, but I do really like it. It's grown for me. It's kind of gone through a stall, like quite a few of my Hoya plants have. Part of that probably neglect, and part of that probably the pest that shall not be named. But this one is Hoya Crassipetiolata, and I got this one from Unsolicited Plant Talks. Sorry, I almost forgot the name. It's kind of been a day, you guys. But I really love this one. Love the leaves. These are pretty pale. They haven't always been this pale, so I'm just kind of wondering if maybe it's a nutrient issue. I don't tend to, here's a hot take, I don't tend to fertilize my plants very much, if at all. I can't really remember the last time I did any fertilizing on these guys, so yeah, probably about due. But the one next to it, you know, it's so this kind of circling back to this, it's pretty neat. It's got a peduncle. I haven't seen any new growth on it for a while, so it definitely was a recipient of the pest treatment or the beneficial bugs. So we'll see what happens with Crassipetiolata. Here is Hoya Krohniana Silver. I think this is this Super Silver? That is the name that the nursery gave it. I got this one from Tonkadale, one of my local nurseries here in Minnesota, and it's really pretty. I noticed that some of the newer growth is coming in kind of green, so I'm going to keep an eye on that. I don't really know what to do about that. I'll look it up, I'm sure, just to see if it needs higher light or lower light in order to preserve that silvery coloration. So we'll do some research on this one, but looking good, looking pretty good. Moving right along here, here's another UPT plant. This is my Hoya Kalimentan. I feel like I've had this one on a previous video. This one's kind of in rehab mode. Again, was one of those that was just kind of not doing what it used to do. It put out all of this growth for me in the first several months that I had it, and then, you know, it kind of slowed down. It started peduncling out a bit, actually quite a lot. And then it was shooting out these vines that would then go nowhere and kind of die back. So I'm cautiously optimistic with this one, but the leaves are also not very succulent anymore. So I'm leaning toward potentially chopping this one down and taking cuttings because, you know, I haven't done a root check in a while. I mean, that's the first step. I'm going to go in here and see what the roots are looking like, if anything's rotted off or not. But I may end up trying to save this one by taking some cuttings because the leaves just aren't. I'll show you a plant over here that it's kind of night and day, and they both kind of used to have the same rigidity to their leaves. So definitely something I'm trying to keep an eye on for this one because I would really, really hate to lose this specimen. I really hate that a lot. Moving over here, I've got, so these two right here, plus this one over here, these are my three newest Hoyas. They'll probably be the last purchases for plants that I make in 2022 because it's Antarctica outside now. But I got an Elliptica. I used to have an Elliptica that really didn't do anything for me. It just kind of yellowed and stalled out and didn't grow. Now I know I might have had a broad mite issue or a flat mite issue. So cautiously optimistic with this one. You know, obviously it's going to receive the treatment that all of these plants are receiving with those predatory mites. Kind of hopefully serve more as a preventative in these plants' cases. But really wanted an Elliptica. It was, you know, going into it, one of my favorites, just the way it looks. I love the way this plant looks. And my absolute goal is to get an Elliptica on a trellis. That is my goal for this little guy. So we'll see if I can do that. I have a species or I don't know if there is kind of like a variety name for this, but it's my one of my Hoya Caudatas. I have two of these. I'll show you the other one in a second. I love the leaves on this one. Just that kind of mottled, kind of patchwork fuzz look to them. A little bit rigid. I like those leaves a lot. Over here is my regular Hoya Obovata, and you might notice this looks pretty yellow right now. Again, thinking this might be a nutrient issue. Some of the leaves, though, underneath are a little bit greener, so might actually also be a lighting issue. I'm going to play with that one a little bit, too, to see if I can adjust and kind of revert it back to its regular coloration on those leaves. Similar for this one too. I just don't know. You know, the light is probably a good 4 feet away from these plants, and they just seem like they're bleaching out. But again, part of that might be tied to the nutrients in the substrate that they're in. So I'm gonna play around a little bit with that this winter for these guys. And because they're under grow lights consistently and they have that constant, you know, powerful source of light, I feel like fertilizing in the winter I'm going to be able to get away with. I'm seeing a lot of new growth on some of my other Hoyas, so I feel like that might be okay to go ahead and do, because they do have that consistent source of light. But this is Hoya Kerrii Splash. I've had this one for a little while. It was super slow. But this leaf grew in my care. And then it does have a new grow point on it, which actually looks like it, you know, that's still active, I think. This one was a dieback. It shot up this vine. This was new, and then it died off. So, hoping for that guy. I've got, oh goodness, I'm gonna forget the name of this one. This is one of my trio of new Hoyas that I got fairly recently. What are you? What are you, friend? I need to create tags for these because I'm so bad at remembering the names, but I will put this on the screen so we all know. But yeah, it's doing well. Nothing particularly stands out for me for this one, but the price was good and it's a variety I don't have, so thought I would go ahead and get one. Back there, I want to say, is this Mindorensis? It's a cutting. So this might be an unknown. I don't quite remember what this Hoya is. Yeah, I really have no idea. I think it was just a random cutting that I got at one point from someone. Shoot. It's doing its thing, though. It's alive. That's cool. So this is the other Hoya that I wanted to talk about comparatively with Kalimentan. So this is my Hoya Finlaysonii longleaf variety. I used to have a short leaf. That one died, and it was very small and very sad for a lot of its life. So this one, conversely, is doing fantastically. It's got really good kind of taut, strong leaves. They're holding up. You can tell that it's getting enough water just from the feel of the leaves. And I love that they're sort of subtly velvety. They're not like, oh, Finlaysonii leaves are so unique because obviously you've got the really gorgeous veining that is very pronounced, but they also just have this weird like the edges are so kind of rough and unique. And then the actual texture of the leaf itself, it's like sort of suede, just overlay on these, you know, just interestingly rigid, kind of flat structure to them. I really like this plant a lot. And this one seems to be doing quite well. No complaints. Moving over. Couple of things happening over in this corner. This is my other caudata that hasn't done anything for quite some time. So I've got a good dose there of the predatory mites just because it's been sitting here. Everything's alive. Like, it hasn't lost the leaves that it put out in my care at all. It's just hanging out. This single vine that kind of ends right over here. And that's all she wrote. But I like it. I really like that variety. Similar reasons. I mean, the leaf structure is just really unique on the caudata. I really appreciate that. Over here, this is my Callistophylla, and this one's not doing good, guys. I'm definitely going to be taking cuttings of this vine because it's really a shame. It's just one of those Hoyas that for me, I just can't figure it out. I'll be very honest and blunt about it. I just don't think I've ever picked up on the watering correctly or the watering needs that it thoroughly enjoys to thrive. So some of these leaves, they've just been really quite flimsy for a while and they shouldn't be. So that's my step is going to be to, oh, and it looks like even the vine is dying back over here. So I think this guy needs some emergency rehab pretty quick. Down here, I've got a random Dischidia. I think this is a variegated Dischidia ovata, if I'm not mistaken. This thing is pretty tough, actually. It just kind of sits here. I neglect it. I always forget to water it because it's so small and just unassuming. So it lives right here. It's alive. And then this is another plant that I got from Tonkadale, and some of you guys might be going, oh, anticlimactic. But you know what? It's a classic. It really is. It's a classic plant. This is the Hoya Crimson Princess, or Hoya carnosa. I believe it's a carnosa, Crimson Princess variety, where the variegation is on the inside. Green edged. It's just a really pretty specimen. I took some cuttings from it, so those are rooting up real nice. So I'll put them back in here and get a fuller plant. Trails. And if you guys are new to my channel and you're wondering, does my dog bug these plants? Nope, she just ignores them. She has no idea what they're for, has no interest in them whatsoever. So they live here, she naps there, and it's all good, right? Yeah. But those are my Hoyas on this Hoya shelf in my living room. So I'll be right back in a second, and we'll have a complete 180, and I'll show you the last few Hoyas in my living room. All right, here is the shelf above my sofa. Things aren't very clean in here, obviously. As you can tell, my sofa is kind of chaotic at the moment, but this shelf really needed to be here. I needed something with some lift that would draw the eye up, and I knew it was going to be plants on there, so I got one of these. I definitely invested in lighting, and that took a while, and it took quite a bit of saving, but I have no regrets because now I can have Hoyas in the interior of my house, and they grow very well. So this is my big Hoya Pubicalyx. It's multiple plants. I got it as a bigger plant. It just had multiple vines in the same pot. So just kind of put it up here and let it go. And it's been growing ever since in this spot. It seems pretty happy. Next to it, I have my smaller Hoya Curtisii. This one is kind of struggling at the moment. I think I forgot to water it a couple times, and this one is one that likes a little bit more water. So it's still okay. It's doing all right. I just might need to kind of keep an eye on it for a bit. It's still, come on, little guy, you got this. Got some other cool plants up there, but we'll save that for another time because they are not Hoyas. This one is a newer one. This is also a UPT variety. And this is Hoya Panchoi. I think I'm saying that right. I don't know. But I really like the little leafed Hoyas, and I really like this one because of its symmetry. Like the leaves kind of come out 2 by 2, and they just kind of look like this big lush kind of vine, even though these leaves are so small because the nodes are so close together, and it's really cute. Kind of reminds me of Bertonia a little bit. But they're just teeny tiny leaves and funky little vines. Yeah, I like this one. Next to that one, I have my Hoya, it's the cross between the Carnosa and Serpens. This is Hoya Mathilde. Hoya Mathilde. So this one's vining out pretty good. I've had this one for a while. Ooh, hello there. Look at you, about to bloom. That's fun. This one peduncles like crazy. Both of these vines have like several peduncles on them. I think Mathilde is just known for that. But yeah, tons of these little guys. So flowers. I'm gonna have spent Hoya blooms on my couch again. And then this one is a newer one. This is another UPT purchase from this year. This is Hoya Memoria. And this one is gorgeous. I just love this one. It's pretty simple. It's pretty easy to find this plant too, I think. It's getting easier. I think it was also known as Hoya gracilis was a name. I think it's Memoria now. I think they're one and the same. But this specimen is just so lush. Like the vine is just, there are a couple of vines here, like 2 longer ones, 1 shorter one, and then it has some active growth points up on the top here that are producing new leaves. It's just a really pretty plant. It's got a little bit of speckling on the leaf, I'm not always super crazy about that, you know. I'm not, you know, actively looking for the silver Hoya or the super splashy Hoya, but this one's just nice. Nice and green, fills up this little space. I love having this little row of 4 kind of more traily, viney Hoyas right up in front with these little terracotta cash pose, also from Tonkadale. And then the very last Hoya I'm gonna show you is my Krinkle. Take it down because it's easier to see. But this is Hoya Krinkle. Looks like I have a dead leaf in there. Whoops. This one's due for a watering, and hey, look at that. This one has actually never bloomed for me before, so that's really exciting. We'll see what that looks like when that pops open. That's pretty cool. And then, yeah, this is a neat one. I think I definitely need to give this one a shower. It's looking a little dusty. The plant's up here, you know, easy to forget just because they're hanging out kind of above your head, easy to lose track of. But this is also one of the first Hoya I think I ever got, was the Krinkle and that Pubicalyx over there, the big guys. But I really love the leaves on this one. Just that interesting texture, the 8 crinkles in it. But yeah, those are my Hoya plants in my living room. And these live out here just because I didn't have space in the other room. So I like them for the fact that they're kind of contributing to the design of my living space, which I really like. I've got, you know, a few plants kind of going up the wall there, but overall, I just really love how these displays kind of create that jungle vibe in this room that doesn't get a whole heck of a lot of natural light from these northern facing windows, especially now in the winter. So I'll be excited to keep you guys posted on how they do in this cold season. That's it from me, everybody. Thank you for coming with me on this epic 3-part Hoya journey. I hope that you found that interesting. And I think my next video, I'm going to be sharing my favorite plants of 2022. Some of the plants that I have on this list are wish list plants. So I will make sure to post if you want to kind of keep tabs on my filming schedule, which doesn't really exist. Don't really have one of those. But if you want to like or subscribe, please feel free. That'll help connect you to me when my next video goes up. And I hope you guys are having a fantastic week. I hope you have a fantastic holiday and enjoy your plants.